this is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day and of the week here. So we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETF, ETHU, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the oil indexes, which are all nice and green now. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, selling stock in my ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have Bitcoin, daily and weekly. Now you can see where it sold down and where to go. Boom! Look at that. See, that's why you trade the charts. Now, if we went lower than that 103,609 on that 200-day, then we pick it right up here on the old weekly chart here of 102,265. That's what we'll be watching. Okay, so right now here, this is got a good bounce off of that, and we have a bottoming tail. So the key is what we're going to have to do is watch this Sunday night to see exactly if we're going to hold this bottom and then start moving back up again, or are we going to lose that key 200 SMA at that 103,609. Now, if we do, then we'll come right down to that 50-day. You're looking at 102,264 level, and then we could come all the way down here. Just bring this candle, this chart right across, price channel right across. 99.90 is going to be your target. Then we come down here. We have a nice target right there of that 93,685 level, and then we look at the top of that candle at 89.20 level. But again, we got very good, strong support with the 200-day and that 50-day. Now, on the upside, let's take a look at the upside here, okay? So now we're sitting at here at about here, where we're sitting at 107,200, okay? So what we're really looking for here next is right here at the bottom of this candle, okay? Right there, okay? Yesterday's low, 107,720. That's going to be your resistance, okay? Then what we'll do is we'll come up to the top of that candle, bottom of that candle again, 108,555. And then we just march it right on up, 109,270 level. Now, if we can keep right on rolling, we'll come right down to this level here. You're looking at 110,295. We look at 110,410 level, and then we come right to the bottom there at 111,355. And then we march it right up to yesterday's high at 112,280. And then we work yourself to that 100-day at 113,345. Now, if we can get back above this key price channel level right here. Okay, let me just get it in there for you. 107,720 level. Then your big target is going to be, obviously, it's going to be that 100-day. It's going to be this 8 SMA here, which is crossed over. And then we're going to have that 50 SMA. And then we have the old 21-day at 115,841. But this was a really good shorting opportunity. BITI, excellent shorting opportunity. And then I dumped that and I scalped the old long BITX. It got as low as 45.09. I didn't get in there. I got in there a little bit late. I just put an order in there at 45.50. So I'm long from 45.50. I'm going to see how that's going to shake out here today. Okay. So again, Sunday night, we want to watch today's candle. That's going to be very, very key. 109,470 on the top, 103,745 on the bottom. And then always watch that 200-day and watch that 50 SMA here. Now, we're not overbought or oversold here. This is only at 36. The green went over your red. Okay, shows momentum to the downside, the same way with here. But this is not overbought, oversold either. But look at these last pullbacks here. Okay, look at all these pullbacks. The RSI only got right down. It never got to an oversold condition, kind of a situation. Okay, an overbought condition. Okay, so this, we'll always look at that, always look to the past. Now, again, we came all the way on there, down to just about to that 50-day, but we still have a nice uptrending chart. Okay, low, higher low, higher low, higher low situation. Okay, let's take a look here at the ETF Ethereum, ETHU. All right, here we have the Ethereum ETF. Now, again, we got to see how it is all going to shake out here on the close. So we got this low all the way down here. Okay, so we went, got as low as 99.45. So all I got to do is look to the left of the chart here. What do we have here? You got 99.20. Okay, so far, we're holding that level. Now, again, if that is lost here, then we're going to be looking right here to this 92.51. This is your 200 SMA here. That's going to be very, very key level. Then, obviously, if we lose that, we had a lot of gaps here on this one here. Okay, so you got that 87.62 is your gap. Look to the top there, 83.97 is your fill. Then we look to the bottom there. At 75.72 is your gap, and then the top of that candle at 71 flat, there is your fill level, okay? Now, here on the upside, what we're really looking to do is get back. This is going to be very, very strong resistance, this 112.59. Now, if we get above that, we come to yesterday's high, 120.10, and then we're looking for that 8-day, 124.02, 133.08, 145.79 level, okay? Your 8, 20-day, and your 50 SMA. But now that 8-day crossed over your 50-day, over the 21-day, and now she's going to provide very, very strong resistance if this is going to be moving on up. Now, this is what we really need to hold here by the end of the day today. It's going to be that 50-day, 107.83, and then we can get back above that 111.30. If we can shoot up towards that 8-day, and now you can see where the 8 days rolling over. So you got to be very, very patient with this situation here if you're trading the Ethereum ETF here. Okay, so again, just watch on the downside. We start losing this. Just watch that 200-day at that 92.51. That's going to be very, very key. And on the downside, in that 100-day, 112.59 on the upside. All right, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold, here we have silver. Okay, just like that. Boom, boom. Okay, now, rallying up very, very nice. Now you can see here we topped right out, big topping tail, 43.92. So I figured you're going to go to that 4,400 level. Didn't quite make it there. And then we have 45. That's always an easy EV target up there. Now we have this big indecision candle, so we got to see how this is all going to shake out here right now. Okay, so again, you're sitting right there at that 42.50 level. We're here on the downside. So what we're really watching on the downside here is going to be the bottom of that candle. That's at 42.14 level. And then we watch today's low at 41.96. Then we're looking at 41.49. That is your 8-day. Now, again, as long as it's holding that 8-day, okay, it's sideways to up action. But again, as I was saying, okay, when you look to the past here, 3 days on the outside of that price channel and then come on in. 3 days on out, come on in. Now, we had 4 days, and then we have to come right back in again, okay? So it's not going to go up forever, so always remember that. This was a good trade situation. I did not trade the gold today because I could see that topping tail coming on, and I don't short it, so I could see, nah, I'm just going to leave that alone today, and I'm glad I did because now you're looking at over that 80 mark, and now she's coming back down to earth here a little bit. But again, what you really want to watch is today's candle. That's what you're trading against. On those futures, when they open up Sunday, is 43.92 on the high side, and that 41.96 on the downside, and then watch that 8-day. Now, silver, same thing. We got to the breaking out on those price channels. See how you had all these on the outside of that price channel? Then we just topped here at 53.76. Now, I was figuring we're going to go to that 54 level, and then realistically, that 55 level, which is a good round number. Now, we put this big red candle, and we engulfed the previous day. So we got to be very, very careful here. Now, on the upside here, what we really want to watch is as the bottom of that candle right there, you're looking at that 51.19. That's going to be your resistance level. Then we can come right at the top of this candle, 52.63, and then we can be looking for that 53.76 level. If we break out of that, you're going to go 54 and then roughly to 55. Downside, we're still holding this 8 here so far. Okay, so 50.15, that's going to be very, very key. We start losing that, then we want to come down to the bottom there, 48.75 level, and then we come right down here to this 47.68, which is your 21-day. But again, as long as we're holding that 8-day, it's sideways to up action. But again, this is so toppy, you know, it's unbelievable. Same way what's going on here. As you can see here, our RSI, it doesn't last. Eventually, it's going to sell down, and a lot of people are going to get just hammered here. So again, if you're trading gold and silver, I just trade it daily. Okay, just when I can see the run-ups, but when you see all these candles on the outside, it's not worth the risk, especially on a Friday. All right, let's take a look here now at crude oil and natural gas. All right, here we have the crude oil, okay? Nothing has really changed. High, lower high, lower high, lower high situation. We had this double top situation, came right on down, rallied up to the 21-day. You know, it's 2 days, couldn't hit it, and then now we're just stair-stepping all the way down. Now, today, we put in a lower low, and it looks like we closed here below yesterday's, okay? So that is not good. Even though we have a bottoming tail here, still not good. Now, today, we made this low of 56.15 level, okay? So what we're looking for on the left is we're looking for that 56.39. Okay, so it just went just a little bit below that. Now, your next level is going to be that 55.30 level, and then we have that 55.12 level. Okay, well, we cracked that 55.12. Well, then what you got is you got 53, you got 50, you got 47, you can go down to 43 very, very quickly. Now, OPEC is gathering up a bunch of information about how all their people members are pumping oil. They're not just going to take their trust in it, like kind of a situation. They're going to actually have a team out there, and they're going to make sure that everything is pumping, because right now they don't like to see this oil prices that's this low here, because especially like on Brent, that's just way too low for what they're doing. Okay, so but right now during the circumstance, I said we're going to go down to 50s, and then here we are. Okay, now upside, we want to watch today's high, 57.32 level. And we come to the bottom of that candle, 57.68, and we'll come to the bottom there, 58.22 level, and then what we're looking for is that 8-day at 59.19. Now, we can get above that, then we have a nice target up here at 59.82, and then we have 60.17 level, and then we'll be looking for that 61.41, which is your 21-day, and then we have your 50-day at 62.57. Then we have 64.59, and then 66.14. But you can see all these simple moving averages. See this? absolute waterfall all the way on down. Very, very strong resistance on any kind of rally up. Plus, this time of the year, I can't see unless you have some kind of a disruption, some kind of a war, sometimes something that's going to take crude higher. Right now, I still got the short on, the SCO. That's working out really good today. I did a little bit of scalp today in the UCO. I was out of the office here at midday, so I only could do what I could do. But I did scalp a little bit on the UCO, but I'm still staying short here until we get back above that 8 simple moving average. Okay, now sitting on at 32. That's not oversold yet. Okay, so this here, see this? This is oversold right down here. That's oversold. This is not oversold yet. And the green is below your red, so you can see here just absolute downfall off of this nice double top situation. Okay, let's take a look here now at natural gas. All right, here we have natural gas daily chart. Let me bigger up a little bit for you. There we go. There we are. Now you're talking. Okay, so right now we have a low, higher low, and a higher low situation. Off that double top, sold right on down. Now, today we hit this low all the way down here of 2.89 level. Okay, right there. Nice. So all I got to do is look to the left of the chart here. You have 2.87. We're holding that level. Now, if we keep losing it, then we come down here. You got 2.84 level, you have 2.81, and then we have your retest test down there at 2.77. But UNG was a very, very good scalp today, and that's all I was doing is just waiting for this to come down. Now, remember, I showed you, let me just see here if I can big this up here a little bit. Yeah, okay. So we look here to the past, okay? So last October, what do we have? We had this scenario. Okay, so this came down here, down in October down here, okay? Came right on down, and then what we had is a nice, good, consistent rally all the way on up. So if you look at this pattern here, okay, and we look at this pattern here, there's really no difference, okay? So bottom line, can we start rallying up and be like what we had going on here? Because look at here, we went all the way down there, okay? You hit that low of 2.21, and then we rallied up here to your 4.36, okay? So more than a double. Very, very nicely. So are we going to do the same time this time of the year? We got to see. So always look to the past. Okay. So right now, what we're looking here on the downside, you just watch today's low when those futures open, that 2.89, and we could retest that 277. Now, upside, where do we go? We went right into that 50-day. That's why you trade the charts, 3.02. Right above that is that 8-day at 3.1, and then we have 3.14. Then we have 3.23. Then we can just start taking out the bottom of that candle there. You got 3.31 level. And then we come up to there to 3.39, and then we have your 200-day, 3.46, and then 3.58 is your big retest, okay? But we got to see here. Now, remember, when we look to that past, you see that 8-day was coming down the same way. See that? How I was keeping that everything down? And then it popped above that 8-day. We had a red candle, but that 8-day curled, and then she just had a nice, good rally on up here. So are we going to have the same thing this time of the year? Let's just see if we do. As this 8-day comes down, maybe we can get the curl right back up. Boom, jump above it. Once we get that price above it, then we can take it all the way back up here. Okay, so we're not overbought, oversold. You're only sitting here at 44. That's looking good. The green is below your red because we had this sell-off. But again, if we can get above that 50-day and above that 8-day, we could be rocking back on up here. Now, when those futures open on Sunday, this 8-day is not going to be at 310. That 8-day is going to be towards that 50 mark. So always just remember that. But again, there isn't that far to go here. You're looking at maybe 277. You come down to 262 level, okay? So there isn't really that far to go like on the downside. So I tell you right now, the UNG for the scalp working very, very nicely. Okay, let's take a look at the indexes. Now, this morning, the indexes, futures, everything was all solid red, okay? Solid red. Now, a lot of this stuff is being based on the information of what T-Man is doing with China. Okay, so it came out today. Don't worry about it. You know, we got a good relationship, blah, blah, blah kind of situation. Okay, but then you remember, you always had the tariffs involved going on here. You got the government shutdown. So there's a lot of situation going on here. Okay, so when we look at this chart here, you can see here how we're still holding that 50-day, and that's going to be very, very key. And now we're back above that 8-day. That's going to be key. But again, we went right into that 21-day. So you have to get back above that 46,299. Then we can start making hit all these targets. But that's your goal, is that 47, 49 level. But again, right now, this might be all the sell-off that we get, okay? We had that sell-off, and now we're going sideways, and maybe we could pop it back up again. Now, you got to look at all these banks. We're talking about all the banks and all this stress and all that. Man, look at American Express came out. They blew out the numbers. Citibank blew out the numbers. Wells Fargo blew out the numbers. So it's not really correlating kind of situation, okay? So you look at the S&P, it's the same thing. We sold right on down, but we're holding that 50-day. See, very, very key. See, holding that 50-day, very, very key. So again, we get above this 8-day, then we can go right for that 21-day. You get above that, then we can start hitting these targets, and then we do that retest of 67.64. Now, here on the NASDAQ, well, it's the same thing again. Okay, came on down. Well, we're really holding that 50-day, and now we're sitting right at about that 21-day and that 8-day. So we can keep rallying up here. Well, what we do is we just rock it back up until we hit that 23,119 level. Okay, so again, I was looking for 47,000, we overshot it. I was looking for 6,700, overshot it. And I was looking for 23,000, overshot it. Okay, but again, doesn't mean we can't have a retest going right back up here. Now we have negative divergence that was going on here. Okay, there. But now you can see how we kind of sold all the way on off here, and now you're sitting here where we could rally right back up again. So again, this is still to me a trader's market. Okay, just because we have a high here, it doesn't mean that we're going to go all the way down and test these lows. That doesn't mean that maybe someday you might will, but right now we have a big V-shaped situation. But you can notice that as long as we're holding that 50-day on all these charts, okay, this is going to be higher sideways to up action. It's just that simple. Okay, came down to the 50-day, held it. 50-day held it. 50-day held it. The same way with here. Look how nice it's been holding. Okay, see this? Holding, hold away. So again, trade this. This is a trader's market. That's what we do here. We are traders. All right. I'll be back here Sunday night, and we'll do it all over again. And everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you then. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.